Hello, I'm Mark Baer. I'm your host of the YourTown television program. Today, my guest, Gayle. And Gayle is part of the AMP board, and she's also a lifelong entrepreneur. And we're going to start with the story about entrepreneurship. And I love your personal story because it's exciting to me. And let's just start with you being 19 years old, and what are you doing?
Well, for starters, it's good to be here. Yes, very young, and I think that is the basis of the whole thing, that you jump into something, you're fearless, you have no thought of failure, and you just go for it. And I had gotten very interested in watching these little homes go up in the San Bernardino area, very inexpensive, wasn't much to them. And I was so young, and I just thought, oh my gosh, they went up a whole $1,000 in a month. And it just grabbed my attention. But then what really grabbed my attention was the fact that all of the ideas I had in my head, I could see it happen in front of me. If I remodeled what I had in my mind, there it is. And I think it's very much like a painter. They go in and they paint. I go in and I change. And when I see what was in my head, it's exciting.
So you're 19, you're not sure what you want to do, but you think, I'm going to buy and sell houses.
I knew I wanted to do that. I did know.
Yeah, and so let's talk about the process. What did you go and do?
The process was, number one, speaking to my grandfather, because he kind of flew by the seat of his pants too. He's just a farmer, and he gave it a shot on some apartments and took a very big risk. And he said, you just have to go do it. He says, just do it. He says, go talk to a banker, see what they say. I don't know if he thought the bank would clue me in that this is not going to just happen, but I went into a little bank, and I spoke to the manager there, the loan officer actually, and I was looking for a small personal loan because the homes then weren't that expensive, but it's all relative. It was a lot to me then. I had absolutely no way to pay it back, never even thought of that, never gave it a thought that I had to qualify. So just went in and sold him my thoughts of what I felt would not only work, it would work beautifully, and it just didn't have any chance of failure. It was obvious.
And
I don't know that I would do that today.
And it did work.
And it did. He came to me the next day and said, we're going to fund your little project and see how you do. Because I explained to him, I'm going to pay it back through the profits off the resale. So long before flipping houses was called flipping houses, that's what I was doing. And not to my surprise, it worked. I didn't think it would fail. And so one went to the other and to the other. It's just I kept rolling them over, got to the point where it became second nature to just do. And so I stopped always selling them. Sometimes I kept them for rentals, and sometimes I sold them. So I ended up in the landlady business on top of it. But I think the basis for all that is some people just know exactly what interests them, what gives them a thrill to do. And the youth is what makes you not be too scared to take that risk. You are fearless.
And you look back now and you go, oh my God.
I cannot believe it. And there would be so much more that you would have to do for them to even talk to you. But it was a little bank, and it was long ago, and
but the process, so we've had this conversation many times, and the importance of being a young person, especially if you have an entrepreneurial bent, and learning how to manifest. And learning how to manifest early. And by manifest, I mean that you have an idea, you stick your neck out.
And you stick your neck out.
You figure out how to make it happen, and you succeed or you fail, but you've gone through a process of, if I think of something and then I can create it and it exists materially.
And there it is.
And then you can go on. And if you don't learn that process young, it's very hard to do. And if you do learn that process young, it will serve you for a lifetime.
The learning came in the years. The beginning, I knew absolutely nothing. I just thought I knew. The real learning came as I continued doing that. And I was just very fortunate that I had somebody that decided to give me a chance, and that it did work. I never thought it wouldn't, but today I would realize there was risk that I could lose what I had invested and not be able to pay the bank back. But that never crossed my mind. But the learning, the fine points, and really understanding how to do this came in the years ahead. And today, I know exactly what I'm doing. Scares me to death.
But having confidence of self, confidence of the vision,
that's youth.
And the determination to do that and the adventure. I mean, entrepreneurship in many ways is the great American adventure.
It's amazing.
And not everybody is cut out. If you're not an entrepreneur, then you can't play one on TV.
No.
And if you are, you've got to roll the dice. And like again, the younger, young people taking risks, and as we said, well, things were easier then for certain things. Well, things were always easier earlier in some time, but there's always an opportunity for now.
Yes.
And I just think that it's exemplary of something that so important that young people learn how to do is take those big risks.
Yes, somebody has to keep the ball rolling in all areas, and that just happened to be mine. I mean, when I came to Seaside and decided to build my own home here, I thought it was just going to be a piece of cake because I had done remodels where I had stripped the building down to almost nothing. It wasn't anything like what I had done my whole life, and it was so much more difficult. So even though I had learned quite a bit, this for me at an older age was an undertaking that could have been a disaster. Thankfully, it worked out well, but So
we're here. So part of what we're talking about is imagination and actualization. And now, in terms of we're both on the board of Access Monterey Peninsula.
Yes.
We're both proponents of community television.
Yes.
We both believe in the mission of community television. And what we're both involved with is explaining to the community why it's valuable, and that the community has to step up and imagine how this can be used, taken advantage of, and the power of it.
Yes.
So that's, and it's a, I'm a believer because I've seen it. Just this show, for example, not because of me, but because of their 12 different hosts that handle this show, that we can really cover a conversation here. That people actually do see these shows on TV, and that we live in this small community where you do know your neighbors and you do know the people that you see on the screen. This is not like everywhere, but here there's a particular opportunity of synergy, of this guy over there, I need to meet that guy over here. One of the beauties of living in the Monterey Peninsula is if you have an idea and you often say, oh, that person's got that, somebody tells you about somebody, you'll call them up. We have that kind of connectivity.
It's very small town, and people, everyone seems to know everybody. If they don't know them, they're related, and one thing leads to another, and you can get, there's so many stories out there because it's such a diverse community. They're involved people. I've never seen an area where the people are this involved, and that's what AMP is all about. It's to assist these people to record their story, their lives, their events. We have so many nonprofits here that, music, sports events, pastors doing their sermons. We're here for all of that. We assist people in learning how to come in and produce and use the equipment and the studio. And at the end, we hope that they don't need as much hand-holding and they can get their story out. And then one does, then they explain to the other how they can do it. But it is a place where you are free to express yourself. We do believe in freedom of speech, from a full-blown play that someone may have written to one man maybe just talking about his political beliefs. It's whatever you want to do here. You create.
And so, to that end, and again on the board level, and just using this time here as our bully pulpit.
Yeah.
One of the things that we'd like people to, going back to imagination, is think how they can. We're looking for collaborations with the studio. We're looking for nonprofits. We're looking for other
partnerships.
To come on and do what's their important messaging.
Right.
To say, oh, gee, that show is doing well. It's serving a purpose. It's reaching a community. It's getting out a message. How do we take advantage? Because again, having a community television is a real luxury.
It is
in the community, but it's only as good as the involvement of the community.
Well, I think we're very close to. We're already doing very well in that area, but I think there's going to be a lot of expanding of our ability to do even more and to get into the community and really explain to them so they understand a little bit more what AMP is. And we have added quite a few people to our board of directors. It's a dynamic bunch of people, and I think they're just chomping at the bit to enact some of their ideas and improve everything. We're going through a transition where our executive director, Paul Congo, is retiring after being our fearless leader since 1999. Those are going to be hard shoes to fill because he puts in a tremendous amount of time. But I think when the dust settles after that, we've been in a lot of strategic planning meetings, and I think there will be some changes that will grow AMP tremendously, and I really have good thoughts for the future.
What are some of the things that, because you didn't know very much about community television at all when you got into this,
nothing.
And what do you?
I knew nothing, and it's just been a real learning curve. I've had to really grab everything I can to figure this out. And you're asking me, what have I learned about AMP?
Yeah.
I just, when I jumped in on this, what I focused on was promoting it and getting, first of all, our logo. I just wanted our logo recognized, and then I felt that I could explain the rest later. And so I did a lot of that, where I put the logo out there everywhere that I could. And pretty soon, everybody knew AMP. They knew the logo. They knew what it was about. And then the promotional material started to explain, now this is what we do. And I've approached numerous people to come on board and do a show or a fashion show. In one lady's case that I'm still working on, a medical program that just gives information. There's so many things. I mean, it's endless in this community what you can do. But what I've learned is that we need to engage with the community, bring them in here, because once they understand what we do. Everybody has something they want to do. Everybody has a story. Everyone has an idea. They just don't know what to do with it. Yeah. So we're here. And
then I'm looking, again, my focus is more on individuals, or more on organizations than individuals. So. And we have several different channels for several different, we have a free speech channel, we have a more curated channel, we have government channels. A big part of our problem is because you're in the media, you become invisible. So the deliverer of the programs, people see it on the TV, but they don't know who's behind it. So making ourselves, it's become extremely important for us to be visible now to tell the story, because again, the whole media landscape is going through such a change, and that also people have been watching AMP and taking advantage of community television for a number of years, but they have assume it's just there, and it's not something that's because we don't do the fundraising drives like like a KZU does or KCET or our public television stations. So they've been better at getting their identity out and getting the awareness of the need for the public to support them.
Right.
And we're asking for that, but we're also asking our community to get really involved with their thinking caps on what kind of programming we do.
Yes.
If I'm a nonprofit and I have a particular cause, I can do a show about that issue. Or even more to the point, if I'm a business and I have a community-related issue, I can underwrite a show about that.
Yes.
And get that information out and use this tool. And now, because of the internet, something can be on AMP and you might not see it on, you might not see it as it airs or see it as, on television or whatever. But now anything can live forever online.
Right.
So having a studio to produce in and the facility and the ease of which to do this, it's a really a community treasure.
And we're very, very accessible. I think a lot of people don't realize that they can go online to ampmedia.org and find the TV guide for what is playing and then pick and choose what they want to watch. We are on channels 24, 25, and 27 for Comcast. We're on channel 99 for UVerse. You can go online to ampmedia.org and find the icon that allows you to click on that. You can watch it on your TV. You can watch it on your computer. You can watch it on your iPad or your iPhone. That's amazing to me that for instance, the city council meetings, you can watch every one of them. I don't think people are aware yet how easy it is to get into the AMP channels and access the information they're looking for. But I think more and more this is what we are headed towards, opening up in the community and letting them know it's not a big puzzle. We can get that out there.
Anyway, I'm Mark Baer. My guest is Gayle Tier. We're talking about AMP Media. Get involved. We want you. You're watching YourTown TV, and we're going to be right back. Thank you.